This is Rob Hull for Toy Hype USA, and I am here with the creative director of DC Collectibles, Jim Fletcher, who is one of my favorite people in the toy industry.
Oh, so nice of you.
And so we're going to talk a little bit about what was revealed yesterday at the DC Collectibles panel, and about some of the newer lines that are coming from DC Collectibles. So I'm a huge Batman animated fan, so that's
are you?
I am.
That's a surprise.
I think you might know that about me, Jim.
Good question.
We might have established that a few years ago.
I think a little bit.
So let's talk about the new Batman: The Adventures Continue line. So Paul Dini is taking characters who weren't in the animated series and sort of Diniizing them. And so I wanted to know how you pick the characters that are going to be included in this line, because you've had Azrael Batman, which is a figure that a lot of people have requested, and you have you revealed the Batman Who Laughs, which is the first action figure of the Batman Who Laughs. And you also revealed Hush and Thomas Wayne as Batman, and I just wanted to know how you go through and pick out which characters are going to get this particular treatment.
First of all, great job remembering all that stuff from the panel. That was pretty impressive.
I loved that panel.
Oh, well, great. Yeah, me too. I mean, coming here is always fun, and showing off stuff like that is great. But to answer your question, we had we were trying to figure out what to do, first of all, with the animated series. Because at one point, we're over 50 characters in. We've made all these great things, including bat planes and, Batwings and the Batmobile.
I have the Batmobile and the Batwing.
They're so good. So we're thinking, well, we don't want this thing to just go away, because all the rest of the characters we have left are probably not going to sell enough units, honestly, to make them.
For the record, I would have bought the Clock King figure.
Yes.
For the record.
You're not the only person to say that, but I think I need a few more. Anyway, so we were trying to figure out what else can we do. So we sat down and we're like, well, what if we just push it forward? Like if the show had just kept going, throwing in other characters that didn't get a chance to be on the show for various reasons. Like Deathstroke, his name was too scary for the show, so you can't just put him on a kid's show with a guy called Deathstroke. That was the wisdom at the time.
They would have gotten letters.
Yeah. So we thought he would be a good choice. So we actually went through it. We actually had whiteboards all over the office, and we sat there and we started writing every person we could think of that was created after the show. That's actually how we came to those characters. So there's a whole list on the wall of a bunch of people that had showed up, like Professor Pig and all these other weirdo characters that were invented way after the animated
in the planning?
series.
I'd love to see an animated style Professor Pig figure.
It was pretty close to being done, actually. It's such a weird choice. But
that would have been such a cute figure of such a creepy character.
A cute one.
Of such a creepy character.
That's why some of the pops work really well. They're so cute and creepy. I thought so, too. But anyway, we decided to go with the ones that we did because they were relevant, I think, now. Like Thomas Wayne's all over the place with the new story arcs. I thought he was pretty cool. I mean, Hush has been such a big deal for, a Batman story arc that most people consider really pivotal. So we threw him in there. And Azrael is somebody you wanted to do from the get-go. We're like, got to be him, first one in. So we really just went through the list.
I'm so glad you picked the first suit, because I think that suit translates so much better than the later armor.
It's so cool.
One.
Yeah. Oh, that's his debating alone of that suit is interesting. It's just like he just keeps piling on armor. So, but we're trying to keep it more simplified, like the show style. Even that Talon we showed yesterday it's pretty elaborate.
Incredible.
If that was on an animated show, it'd be a little more elaborate than some of the other ones.
I mean, again, that's probably not a character they'd ever be able to do a story.
Yeah, probably not if you base it on the actual story. But yeah, it's because Paul's been a great contributor since the beginning. To talk about that for a minute, since we started the animated series, we reached out to him immediately, and he's like, "I'm all in." It's like, whatever you guys want, like I'll help you out. We can talk about reference and blah blah blah. So this time we went to him and said, "Hey, we want to take the vision you and Bruce had and expand it. So these are some of the characters we're thinking," and he started writing bios for the ones that we were picking. So that's actually pretty cool. So they're actually really legit if the show is continuing, because one of the main creators is actually still contributing.
It's really an amazing. It's amazing how natural these figures.
That's what we thought.
In terms of like it's literally like you just look at them and they're like, oh, they're Batman animated figures,
Right? They
like,
just
they
look
just
like,
go in the line.
I mean-
It's all the same.
and there's even other Batmans behind us we could do. I mean,
Yeah,
there's that old school Batman over there. We could do any of that stuff with those same Batman bodies. So if this does as well as I think it's going to do, I think you'll be seeing these for a while.
Kite Man, Jim, you've got to
Kite
put
Man.
Kite Man in that line.
Kite Man.
I think
Killer
I
Moth.
think Tom King is just jumping
Killer-
for a Kite Man figure.
Yeah, probably. Well, Killer Moth was on the show.
They keep slipping him into issues. Like I really think there needs to be a Kite Man figure in some form.
I'll take your Professor Pig thing under advisement because I really wanted to do that one too.
I think it would be hilarious to have an animated style Professor Pig figure.
It's so weird. Or Dr. Death.
Because like on the top 10 list of characters that will probably never be in an
probably not in the top 10. That's for sure. Who was that guy? Who was that flower guy from Snyder
Mr. Bloom.
Yeah. Mr. Bloom would be awesome. That'd be such a cool animated toy.
I would love to see a DC Essentials Mr. Bloom because the accessories you guys could do with a DC Essentials Mr. Bloom. I always thought you guys would do a Jim Gordon Batman Mr. Bloom 2-pack.
That's not bad. I wouldn't like to tell you this on camera. However, we sculpted a Mr. Bloom.
Oh, wow.
A long time ago when we were still doing the Capullo toys.
Wow.
So it's just sitting around gathering dust.
I love those figures.
It's so
too.
cool looking. It's got big creepy hands and everything. So it's in our in our closet of things that never came out.
Since you
pretty cool.
Since you mentioned Greg Capullo, one of the other things to come out of the panel was that Greg Capullo is still a big part of the DC lines going forward. Lots of designs, lots of statues.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy when you look how much stuff we've done with him over the years, from the action figure lines and.
I love that figure line.
Yeah, it's really good, and their production was great.
Gordon is a standout piece to me in that
Everybody
line.
likes. That's funny you said that when everyone's like, "This is the best Commissioner Gordon figure you guys have ever done." I mean, not that we've done that many,
right?
But still, it is a pretty good one. I mean, the armor in that line was great. I mean, the metal statue line did really well for us. He's got 3 Batman black and white statues already in the can, which
those
is
metal statues are incredible.
They're super detailed.
Though I have to say, I'm still holding out for figures of all of those.
Oh yeah,
evil
that'd
Batman.
be pretty cool. Well, you can move some of the parts on the statues. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not bad.
I always thought you guys should do like you guys did the Justice League box set. I always thought you guys should do the evil Batman in a box set.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'd be
I
a
think
super expensive box set.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Justice League box set's not that cheap.
No, like when you start throwing people like Doomsday,
the
just
Devastator,
the size,
yeah.
the Devastator, the size alone is massive. I don't even know how it'd be the box set would be shaped like everybody else, and then him at the end. But they'd be fun to work on.
The Batman Who Laughs is a standout character, and I know you guys have done statues, and I know you guys are doing the animated style figure.
Yeah, he's very popular.
Are there plans for an essential style figure of the Batman Who Laughs?
It's weird that we came out with an animated style one first before anybody else. I mean, it's of all the lines you could have put it in, it's kind of funny it ended up in there.
The funny thing is the animated style one actually looks incredibly realistic.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it's pretty close to what it is on the
really
page.
Fits in. Yeah, it really fits in.
But obviously, everybody that loves that character is hoping for you guys to do an essential style, realistic.
I would hope he'd get into that
tape.
line. I mean, if anywhere else he ends up, we've already done a number of statues, so the only other place for him to go is in the essentials line at this point.
I'm crossing my fingers. Yeah.
He definitely counts as an essential part of the DCU now. I mean, when they introduced him, who knows? But that thing took off huge.
Yeah, that storyline was amazing, and that character is incredible. That Batman Who Laughs comic is one of the most disturbing comics I have ever read in my life.
It's so good, though.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, because when he was writing, when he had the red copy, so there's a story within the rest of the copy. So when he was writing the story, there's the red copy, and then there's the black copy. If you start pulling out all the red words, it tells a whole nother story.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. Kudos to those guys.
Scott is one of my favorite writers.
He's really killing it. Yeah, it's amazing.
I used to tell people if Scott wrote the phone book, I'd read it.
It'd probably be more interesting. That's for sure.
In red letters. So, so what are you looking? So, of the products that you showed yesterday at the panel, which one are you most looking forward to the release of? I know it's like asking you which is your favorite child.
Yeah, I know. Always the hard one with you. right now, because we've been talking about it so much, I mean, the Batman animated new line I'm super excited about that because that was a real labor of love for the design department. So probably that at the moment. I mean, it's just so cool.
I know. I came back from Toy Fair going, "Oh my God, that line! Oh my God, that line!"
Got that quite a bit from everybody at Toy Fair.
I just that line has just got to keep going. Oh my God, that line!
Yeah, well, good. That's what I like. That's what I need to hear.
So finally, we'll talk about one more thing. So Harley is all over the booth here at Comic-Con because there's this big Birds of Prey movie coming out, and that Harley has always been a character that translated well for you guys, no matter whether you did figures or anything. Is there a particular Harley product that's coming out that you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe how that came out?
Well, there may be something in the booth on a different day.
Ooh.
If you come back, maybe you'll see it there.
Ooh.
But I mean, the Harley red, white, and black line we're doing is really fun. I mean, it's, again, it's funny because Batman black and white works so well because of that limited color palette, and Harley, that's it. She's red, white, and black. I mean, that is all her colors. So that line's been doing really well for us, and I love all those. They're super fun to work on, and hopefully we can get it running as long as Batman black and white, as long as Harley remains at the popularity level. I mean, that she outsold Batman in his own statue line is amazing.
So speaking of Batman black and white, did you think when it started that you would have 100?
No. I mean, even I asked, because George Brewer showed up in the audience at the thing, and he's the one that started the whole department, and I asked him that question.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you think we'd ever hit 100? He's like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, I mean, it's funny. We would have planned out some of the milestone ones maybe a little differently if we had any idea. Like, I think might have been Brian Walters, I think, but somebody woke up one day and was like, how many of these have we made so far? And we were already we were just about to hit 50. And I'm like, oh my God, we should figure out what that one's going to be. And it was the which one was it? It was the guy standing on the sand. That's bad. Sean Murphy. Phew. Wow. Pressure. So the Sean Murphy, it was him and somebody else were about to come out at the same time. So at the last minute, we flipped them because we wanted Sean Murphy's to be the 50th. So then we started realizing this is really the thing we should start paying attention to.
We will not say the person that got flipped.
I don't remember.
To protect the identity.
It's for the innocent. But it's funny because we do that a lot in that line and the Harley line because we'll be wanting, like The Man Who Laughs by Greg Capullo. Yeah. That wasn't even on the list, obviously, because...
Right.
He wasn't even invented.
Right.
So all of a sudden, the Batman Who Laughs shows up. I'm like, whoop, drop that one in, and then push somebody else.
Now, so how much lead time do you have to make decisions like that? Like,
depends. It really depends on something like. I mean, our production schedule is the same for everything. It's just when's the decision to actually, just say, okay, we got to press the button and go. I mean, we've got about. From start to finish on a statue, it's between 8 months and a year, depending on how complex it is. So we have time to pivot when we have to, but if we make up our mind and don't figure it out within a couple of months, we just go with whatever we had originally. And sometimes we'll sculpt stuff to have in reserve in case something falls apart. Like if stuff drops something, like, oop, okay, that went away, put this in. So we don't want to be caught flat-footed with nothing for you to buy.
Right.
You're welcome.
Two more quick questions. First, since the Essentials line started, Batman has gone back to his sort of Hush costume.
Yeah.
So are there plans to release an Essentials figure with him in that costume so that you have a figure that reflects the
We'd certainly want
comics?
to. I mean, that's we haven't. It's funny, we haven't even finished planning out the rest of that line yet, but that would be very sensible.
And two, the 100th black and white statue is a phenomenal Todd McFarlane
That's
statue.
a really good piece.
Can you talk a little bit about, because you talked yesterday at the panel, at the difficulties in actually creating that statue, because it's based on a cover where there is another body on the cover, and that body had to be removed to make the statue.
Surgically. Yes. So basically, we decided to do that after talking to Todd, and we're like, okay, this is great, we all agree, but there's a woman in there. We can't just put her in there, because out of context, doesn't mean anything. Like, what's the meaning? Right. It doesn't mean anything. So he's like, oh yeah, okay, so go ahead. So we kind of scribbled out, so I photoshopped her out, which didn't take that long. And I'm like, but we also realized you couldn't see the logo because there's literally nothing.
Right.
So then I had to put that back in. I'm like, so can we do this? And then the rest of it's just all black. So I'm like, well, what's in here? And he's like, I don't know. I just drew it to look cool. Which, I mean, and he'll tell you the same thing if you talk to him. It's just like, it just has to look cool. So I don't know. So I started doing an underdrawing. I'm like, yeah, he's right. This just looks cool. So we added, you can see a little bit of the belt and the logo because we wanted to make sure there was something in there.
Right.
And then we even were going to paint the face black from here down. Because in the drawing, it's just this.
Right.
You know, it's all like those prints there all over the place. It's just black. And then we looked at it and we're like, because we even sculpted it flat at first, like nothing, just, disappearing.
Right.
And Todd and the sculptor were both like, that's just too weird. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't work. So that was an interesting process when you don't have a lot of information on how to work through it. Luckily, Todd he's been great with helping us out. He was really a great collaborator. Hey, there's another great collaborator. Lee Bermejo's over there. Let's point at him. Oh, I almost got him on camera. Oh, well, too late. He's doing another interview. He's been great.
All right. Thank you so much, Jim. Everything looks amazing. It looks like another banner year for DC Collectibles.
Yes, sir.
He is the creative director of DC Collectibles, Jim Fletcher. I'm Rob Hull for Toy Hype USA at New York Comic Con 2019.
Toy Hype USA.
Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you so much, Jim.